go on this one.
Use the TV as one. They're off by a
We use
minute.
that one. All right, we can do
They're
that.
off.
You have options.
Yeah,
You have.
you're the chair, Doug, you decide.
All right, well, let's go. All right, let's call the meeting to order. Today is June 5, 2023. It's 1 o'clock according to several clocks now on my watch. This is the Tillamook County Budget Committee meeting. We've met now 3 different times. Once in April when the raw numbers and requests were presented to us, and we met again in May, hoping to balance the budget and move along, but there were some conversations that remain unfinished. There were some last minute changes made, and so we're here again. And today is, as I said, June 5th. So what we're going to do today is deal primarily with the general fund, because I believe all the special funds that we had no issues held over. And so this is a continuation of the May meeting. So really at that point, back in May, we went into recess. So we're now reconvening. So that's where we are. And earlier, just prior to this meeting, we had a supplemental budget meeting for the current year's budget, and there were a number of adjustments made, which is pretty routine at the end of the fiscal year. And those were passed and adopted without any real issue or discussion, and so that takes care of the current year's budget. So what we're talking about today is the budget that will be effective July 1. So with that, I think I will turn it over now to our county treasurer again, Sean Blanchard, and as our budget officer, she can discuss maybe where we ended up last session a few weeks ago and what the unfinished business was, and then what's recommended and what's before us today. Then we'll take questions and discussion.
Thank you, Chair Olson. Thank you all for joining us here today to continue deliberations on the Tillamook County 2023-2024 proposed budget. I'd like to begin the meeting with a recap of the budget process so far and a statement for deliberations today before proceeding with discussion and public comment. The original requested budget had $5 million more in cash being spent than coming in. That requires repeating $5 million in dollars spent over cash coming in 1 year. Why isn't that a number that is easily noticeable or frequently commented on? Because common budget practice uses cash balances either from beginning fund balance or other funds to increase revenue available to spend. The initial proposed budget moved historically unspent budgeted line items to make growth beyond our current level of spending more visible. We need to get ahead of funding issues before we are required to make tough funding decisions or make actual cuts. It was a process that allowed the commissioners, budget committee members, department heads, and the public to clearly see general fund growth and hopefully more clearly foresee immediate and future funding needs. As proposed today, we are at a $3 million operational loss, or $3 million more going out than coming in. What does the currently proposed $3 million loss include? All requested vacant positions are back in departmental budget appropriations apart from one, and that is the general fund. Department of Community Development, Sarah Alper, said indicated she did not need hers at this time. An $850,000 transfer from the building improvement fund to the general fund is incorporated. Remaining building improvement funds are considered obligated for 23-24 capital project utilization, including the addition of 2 recent justice facility capital projects addressing issues in need of remediation. There's $233,000 that's bookmarked for a septic system upgrade and $250,000 bookmarked for a sprinkler system repair. And we do not have any quotes on that as far as I know. Correct?
Correct.
The requested transfer from the general fund to the revenue stabilization fund has been removed. Based upon the request made of the budget, our continued priority appears to be short-term gains over long-term stability. A 10-year process of building a cash balance to ensure county facilities are suitable for current and for future mandated circuit court and general fund use has been reversed to open up funds for 1 year of operations. A transfer to the revenue stabilization fund was removed, making us less equipped to withstand timber or other revenue shortages in the future. Increased visibility of growth has been bypassed in preference of ease of access, which brings us to discussions for today. The budget as proposed is secure for 1 year. There are no doubts that general fund resources as they currently stand can get us through 2023-2024. Depending on general fund growth and decisions made during the 2023-2024 year, this proposal makes next year's budgeting abilities uncertain. With priorities as they are, the Treasurer's Office would like to keep this conversation going throughout the year and will be implementing general fund dashboards to review for our forecasted position quarterly. Please join us in keeping a close eye on where we are headed to ensure that we can get where we want to go. Thank you.
So I think what we could do at this point, we can hear from the public, but I'd rather, before we do that, and there may be some names or some numbers I don't recognize, let me ask our staff, county staff, if there's anything that they would care to say before this committee or to this committee. Sheriff and others, we had a lively discussion several weeks ago, but as you just heard, there's been some adjustments made, and there's still, in my opinion, there's still some risk out there, but then every budget is a risk in some ways. So any one of you care to come up to the table and address the committee?
I'm good.
You're good.
You said it very well.
All right, well, then let me turn to the five of us. And by the way, I'll just put on the record, Mr. Bartlein, who was a former county commissioner and also serves on some other elected positions and was on this committee, submitted his resignation shortly after the last committee meeting. So the five of us consist of the budget committee, and it will be up to the county commission at some future date to appoint a sixth individual. As there, under Oregon law, there needs to be an equal number of lay people as there are commissioners. So some counties or cities where they have five, then they have five, and larger group here, there are six total, we're one vacant, but that'll be their job to fill at some point. So let me ask all of us, then, do we have comments on what has been presented by the treasurer and the changes that were made and brought forward?
So the only thing that concerned me are the two items out of jail, the $233,000 for the sewer upgrade and $250,000 for the lock system, is that correct? Sprinkler system, yes.
Right.
So that was not budgeted. Where is that going to be? And we don't have real bids yet at this point. That's coming out of 301, thank you.
And then the transfer we will make to help cover costs in general for the year, will that zero out 301? Assuming that we do these two projects plus the projects currently proposed for the courthouse and other facilities, then is that done?
Yes.
So should we have a similar issue next year, we have nothing left in 301? It would just come from beginning fund balance or from revenue stabilization?
Or from ARPA.
From ARPA if it's unspent.
And so that, I'm sorry, that does not touch the upgrades we're going to do for
DA's office?
DA, thank you.
So
The
the
district
DA's
attorney's
It
office.
is included. I left those on that were
That's-
obligated for 23-24 that Rachel had presented to you in the building improvement for next year.
Perfect, thank you.
Well, I would like to ask a question of the sheriff, since this centered around staff and where the money was being held. Has the market gotten even better, or the positions you said were in the process, are they still there? Are you hopeful, or has that changed over the past several weeks?
You guys like to come up here, don't like the
Yeah, let's get a microphone, because otherwise people online I think can't hear, so.
There, it's green. Working?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So first, the sprinkler system, I can address that just briefly. I know I had sent out an email and then it ended up getting shared. It may not actually be as bad as we initially thought, but essentially we had our yearly inspection, and when that happened, pinhole leak was found. The jail side is pressurized with an air compressor, so as soon as you need water in the case of a fire, it's a lot more immediate. The sheriff's office or patrol side is not pressurized, but that pressurization from air, if you've ever seen an air compressor, has water in it, where it creates condensation, that water builds up. And what happened was, in that pinhole, they ended up removing a section of pipe to replace it after temporarily mandating it. When they did that, they found a tremendous amount of corrosion and rust inside of the pipes, and basically if water rushes through there, it's going to push all that debris and plug up the sprinkler head systems, not allowing it to suppress a fire. Prior to actually like getting all these numbers for replacing every single pipe, the same company that found that and talked to and did the inspection and everything, we're going to now do a full inspection of all the pipes with a camera and all that, so maybe we don't have to replace every single pipe. They can identify more precisely what pipes are actually bad, so it may not be as bad as we initially thought. I suppose it could be every single pipe, and it could be, but we're going to try to take that extra step to if we don't have to replace every pipe, then we won't. But that's the story behind the sprinkler system. Staffing, we just brought on a handful of new people for the jail and one for patrol. Two started June 1st, one for patrol, one for corrections. We currently have an additional new employee in the academy right now for corrections. We have very promising candidates that have an expectation of starting in the jail July 1st, 2 more additional staff members, and as well as another one on July 15th and another one on August 1st. That's the goal we're working on, and provided all of those work.
That's 6 or 7.
That should be 6 total, because by the end of it, by August 1st, if we get everybody that we want, the jail will be fully staffed. There will no longer be any openings in the jail. Every position will be filled. Of course, there's a training issue, there's FTO issues, things like that, so we won't be fully functional at full rate until they're trained, which would be the end of the year.
Hey,
But
Josh, can we hold up for a minute?
Yep.
I think the meeting may have dropped.
Okay, what should I do? Leave and come back?
Yeah.
I've never seen it do that before.
That's odd.
Or is that?
Sounded like someone was calling in.
Well, it's
No, it
done
was
that to
me.
me when I was having trouble in my office, when I would get, where it would go silent, then I would get like really bad internet connection, it would offer to dial me back in.
Yeah, it was.
So let's see what we have.
No, everyone seems to still be there.
Yeah, the meeting was still there, it was our connection to the meeting. That's the beauty of the meeting being in
So
the
many
internet, to the cloud.
Okay,
Are we recording?
we are. Wait, no, we're not. No, we were. We are.
Okay, we're recording.
We're good.
So I don't know exactly where it cut off and what people could hear, but in summary, by August 1, if everything goes according to plan, which it looks as if everything is good, the jail will be fully staffed. We have an additional candidate for patrol, which would be in addition to the one that just started on June 1st, and that will be 4 openings for patrol. So we go from the 11 or 12 that we had at the beginning of the year down to 4. That's where we stand right now. And then there's still one in probation, but that's a special revenue.
And so you're trying to get the 3 more for patrol, basically, over the next number of months.
Well, we with the one we just hired, we have 5 openings on patrol. And we have another candidate that's nearing the end of the background phase, and everything looks promising. And if that person comes on board early July, early to mid-July, hopefully, fingers crossed, that would be 4 openings. And we have 4 contract positions that are not open. So technically, that's the only openings we would have on patrol are contract positions.
More network quality. Do you have someone on IT on call here? Or
I
on
am.
the call?
Maybe we should put a pause on the meeting, get this squared away.
Do you want to recess us, Doug, and
Yeah.
get IT up here?
Why don't we do that? I think this is, there's enough interest in this across the community. Let's, 1:13, then let's take a recess and see if we can get the technical people to fix that so that everybody gets to hear everything.